Wageningen Bioveterinary Research contributes to preventing, eradicating and controlling infectious animal diseases. We do this through research, consultancy and diagnostics. We are the leading national reference institute for all notifiable animal diseases in the Netherlands. Our goal is to detect infections as early as possible and to perform additional checks on animals in the vicinity of an infection source. This is not only important in the case of a possible animal disease outbreak, but also for maintaining the disease-free status of the Netherlands for specific animal diseases, such as avian flu, classical swine fever, and foot and mouth disease, and for the issue of export certificates. With this approach, we work together with veterinarians, government and private and international partners on animal health in general, and maintaining the international leading position of Dutch livestock farming in particular. The Netherlands is the second largest exporter of agricultural products in the world. Each year, the Netherlands exports more than 40 billion euros in agricultural products and animals. Considerable interests are therefore at stake. Very strict international legislation applies to the export of animals and animal products. The vet takes samples from animals intended for export. We analyze the samples from these animals for specific diseases. For example, in the case of horses, we test for rhinovirus. If no pathogen is demonstrated, then the Netherlands Food and Consumer Product Safety Authority can grant an export certificate. The animal is transported. Preventing and eradicating animal diseases contributes to a healthy livestock farming and reduces the risk of these diseases occurring in humans. We work quickly and flexibly. For the diagnostic research, we offer additional services, such as the possibility to follow the status of the research online and download reports, to check if reports are genuine, an overnight service. If necessary, samples are picked up at night, and an explanation of the results and advice based on the results. Wageningen Bioveterinary Research, WBVR, is the National Reference Institute for Notifiable Animal Diseases. Besides testing for diseases for export and suspected cases, we also contribute to animal health in other ways. Our primary interest is combating animal diseases and zoonoses and the animal's response to the pathogen. We also analyze how epidemics spread. We carry out efficacy studies into the effectiveness and safety of medicines, and extensive research in the area of vaccine development. Zoonoses are diseases that can occur in both humans and animals. Thanks to our work, many animal diseases no longer occur in the Netherlands, and people and animals have a lower risk of becoming infected by these diseases. Epidemiology explores how is a disease introduced to a population? How does it spread? What are the risk factors? We continuously do research into this and advise on the measures to be taken. We produce models and simulations to test the effectiveness of measures. Then, based on various scenarios, we can assess what the size of the epidemic will be, how long this will last, and how it can best be controlled. Clinical studies on animals are needed to test the safety and efficacy of medicines. We want to reduce the use of animals in such studies. Thanks to the development of new diagnostic tests, fewer laboratory animals are needed. One example is the alternative test for the diagnosis of botulism, which has led to a 90% reduction in the use of mice. We excel in combining information. In other words, applied research on animals combined with laboratory research. For example, research into RSV, a disease that affects both calves and children. Through studies with calves, as well as laboratory research, we are working on the efficacy of medicines for this disease. We continuously carry out research into vaccines, the development of new vaccines, administration methods, and their effectiveness. As stated earlier, we are particularly strong in combining all of this information. For example, our researchers know how to quickly unravel the genetic code of viruses and to combine it with stacks of information on virus genealogies. That also allows us to determine the sources and properties of the virus, and to estimate the risk for animals and humans. With this approach, we can quickly determine the sources of animal disease outbreaks. This is vital for an effective control of diseases. We have a wide range of highly advanced facilities for different types of research. Facilities for culturing viruses, for vaccine production, diagnostics, to analyze whether a sample contains a virus or bacteria, and additional research. For example, we culture viruses on eggs. We culture cells and bacteria for further research. And we have special equipment and rooms to unravel the genetic codes of diseases and to work on research into diseases such as rabies. In our post-mortem room, we can take samples from corpses of all sizes, from beef cattle to fish, for example. All the material is saved for further research on viruses and bacteria in dozens of industrial freezers, with an operating range down to -80 degrees Celsius. Research on insects takes place in a specific room with a finely woven net as an extra safety layer. The Biosafety Level 3 laboratory, BSL3, in Lelystad, is a unique facility in the Netherlands. We do research into diseases that are transmitted by mosquitoes, ticks and midges, such as Rift Valley fever. These viruses must be isolated. Working in a BSL3 lab therefore requires high safety standards and strict rules for all employees. Furthermore, our laboratories are equipped with every conceivable technology, such as completely automated PCR diagnostics, in order to achieve reliable results. But also pipetting robots and ELISA color reaction robots, which we can use to demonstrate whether animals have experienced an infection, in order for treatment to be started, animals to be exported, and the Netherlands to remain free of certain animal diseases. Preventing and combating animal diseases contributes to a healthy livestock farming. Good diagnostics of animal diseases is a vital aspect of this. We try to prevent an animal disease outbreak or to combat it as quickly as possible. This is not just important for animal health, but also because several of these diseases can infect humans as well. An outbreak has huge economic and social consequences. One such example is avian flu. During the outbreak of 2003, more than 30 million animals were destroyed on 1,300 farms. We detect possible infections as soon as possible by testing animal samples from the livestock industry that are supplied in the event of suspected cases, from sick animals, and for export inspections. Blood, swabs, or other tissue, sometimes even whole carcasses. When we confirm an outbreak, we immediately switch to our crisis management mode. We then receive enormous quantities of samples, as all animals in the wider vicinity of the infection are checked. If certain animal diseases are suspected, then the government immediately involves Wageningen Bioveterinary Research. We are available for diagnostics 24 hours per day. We deal with thousands of suspected cases each year. This means that a researcher is regularly phoned out of his or her bed to quickly come to the lab. Usually, there is no need for alarm. However, if there is a problem, then we are the first to know. Whenever an outbreak of highly infectious animal disease is confirmed in the Netherlands, we switch to crisis management mode. These are hectic times for us. All available personnel and material are deployed to bring the crisis under control as quickly as possible. In a short space of time, we process enormous numbers of samples, and we constantly consult with the government, press, and other bodies. In recent years, we have demonstrated that we can rapidly scale up in case of a crisis. During outbreaks of avian flu, Q fever, and blue tongue, to name but a few examples. Imagine a courier brings a series of swabs and blood samples to us from a chicken farm. First of all, these samples are accurately registered. We keep meticulous track of the origin of each sample and when we received it. Each sample is given a unique code. Then the vial is prepared for the test. As the last step in the preparations, we place the serum in a uniquely coded vial that we can follow throughout the process. The vials are then sent to the lab. Other samples are processed in flow cabinets in the high containment unit. Part of the material stays behind so that clean samples remain available for confirmation research. Special airflow and filtering in these flow cabinets keeps the sample clean and prevents the spread of the virus throughout the lab. The processing of swabs takes place per farm to prevent contamination. In the high containment unit, everything is aimed at keeping pathogens inside and protecting employees. There is a gas-tight partition between the HCU and the external environment. Furthermore, the air pressure in the HCU is lower than outside. No bacteria or viruses can escape. People and materials enter via airlocks. Everybody who visits the HCU wears white clothing. Within the HCU, the labs are under even heavier security. Here, research is carried out at HBSL3 level, the heaviest biosecurity level that we are certified at. These diseases can be lethal for people. Employees therefore wear full protective clothing here. All laboratory waste, the consumables and clothing are decontaminated under considerable heat for a long period of time, and wastewater and air are filtered and sterilized. Employees must spend at least 5 minutes under the shower before they go outside. In the case of avian flu, the processed vials are subjected to the following tests. Color reaction tests demonstrate which tubes contain antibodies. A PCR test reveals in which tubes the virus is present, and we can also immediately determine whether it is an H5 or H7 subtype avian flu. These are highly infectious variants of avian flu. If avian flu is diagnosed, then we immediately contact the Netherlands Food and Consumer Product Safety Authority. Depending on the situation, further measures can be taken by the Ministry. The aim of our work is to detect infections as early as possible and to perform additional checks on animals in the vicinity of an infection source. In this way, we contribute to healthy livestock farming in the Netherlands and the health of animals and people in general.